Well, if you tell me her name, I can tell you where she is. Where she's
Well, you got it. My daughter, Mary Beth Hawley, is from Iowa. She's doing bowling. And we're coming over to watch her, of course. And we thought we were wondering if she was around or whether we could go see her, or at least what tomorrow's schedule will be.
Excuse me, who are you?
I'm his son. Sorry.
It's an invasion of my privacy, I feel like.
I see my life in two distinct parts. There were the 8 or 9 years before my sister was born, and then all the time afterwards. My sister, Mary Beth, is developmentally disabled, retarded, some would say, though we don't think of her that way.
Ten-pin bowling. Professor Revolt.
So I have come with my family to Dublin, Ireland to watch Mary Beth compete in the 2003 Special Olympic World Games. My sister is 30 years old, and I've never really come to terms with her disability. At times she appears to be perfectly normal, and at other times it is clear she has developmental problems. Yet, Mary Beth doesn't feel handicapped, and my sophisticated world-traveling parents seem to have adapted to her long ago. How do they do it? Though I love her deeply, I, however, have not been able to move on.
Mary Beth Hawley. And where are you from?
We're from Davenport, Iowa.
Iowa.
Right. I-O-W-A, Iowa. Davenport, Iowa. Mary Beth Hawley.
Do one of you want to walk around and show this gentleman where Sir Roman Bloch is?
How does a filmmaker and a college teacher connect with a sister who seems to have stopped at the 2nd grade? In many ways, my sister is as big a riddle to me today as she was when she was born.
Oh, here she comes. Be careful, be careful, be careful.
Good, how you doing? Did you have fun? Did you have fun?
Where's Mama?
Mama is tired and she has to go to bed, so you're fine. Okay.
Hi, Mary Beth. How are you?
Yeah.
Over 7,000 athletes and 30,000 family members from more than 150 countries came to Ireland for the Games. The 1,200-member USA team spent 5 days visiting and training in Belfast before moving on to Dublin, and the live television broadcast of the opening ceremonies was the highest-rated TV program in Ireland's history. Though she has participated in the Special Olympics for 20 years, this is Mary Beth's first appearance in the World Games. She is qualified as a bowler and is competing as part of a team of 4 and in doubles and in singles. How was it like when you first, realized Mary Beth was different, or when you heard of...
Well, when she was born, she was just a baby, naturally, I guess. and I didn't know, we'd had you 8 years previous, and babies to me are pretty much the same. And they were, and then 2-3 months afterwards, she got an infection evidently and cried an awful lot. I remember I would try and get your mother to get some sleep, and I would come downstairs with her and walk around with her at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and things like that for a long period of time, because I had to go to work the next day, and she would be alone with her. And I think that's when, at least that's when the doctors tell us that happened. She got a staph infection, a very high temperature, and fried her brains or something like that a little bit.
Did the doctors say fried her brains?
No, I don't think so. I think they said there was some neurological problem where there was some disconnections in her brain due to a high fever. We were on the beach one day, and she was about 2.5 or so, and Esther Reed, who was a nurse and dealt with children a lot, she told your mother, she said, you know, Mary Beth is not performing the way normal 2.5-year-olds do, and you might think about getting it tested and something like that.
When Esther said she thought she was developmentally slow, we thought we'd better start thinking, you know, doing something about it. But at that moment, there really wasn't that much in town that we could do. It wasn't until we got to Chicago that we were able to have her evaluated that summer that gave us the picture, the neurological picture, and the damage that had been done, and the fact that the doctor had said that he thought that she had been perfectly normal at birth, but the staph infection had given her some brain injury. So we just had to pick up and go from there. I remember you and I were devastated. Dad was more stoic. He said, well, we got to move on, but you and I had to go through, I think, a mourning period. Mm-hmm. Took a while, but...
like 30 years.
No, not quite that long. But it was tough.
You had been in Montessori for 3 years, and so we put her in Montessori for 3 days, and she flunked out of Montessori. I mean, she was just throwing everything all over the place. She was just moving everything around, and it was just not good. So we.
She was very hyperactive.
Yeah, very hyperactive.
That all disappeared, you know.
Yeah, that's how that, you know. But it was slow. I mean, it didn't disappear. Well, she didn't tie her shoelaces until she was 6, I think. And I didn't think she'd ever tie her shoelaces. But one day she did. She wet her bed until she was 6, and I didn't think she'd ever stop doing that. And one day she didn't.
You came home from Michael Reese Hospital, mm-hmm. and I was watching Mary Beth, mm-hmm. and we could hear you coming from a block away, and the door was slamming, and you were swearing up a storm, and
I was angry.
Well, sure, and I came down and I said, "What's wrong?" And you said the doctor said she was retarded. It says she's retarded, and I screamed, "No, she's not."
Yes, you did.
And
you
did. Screamed too.
And you and I cried. Yep. Tough.
What? Talk me through that.
I don't know what to say. It was as though somebody had died. And I think we just had to accept what we were never going to have, which we had hoped for. We had you. We thought we were going to have another you. We didn't get that. So we just had to start at the very beginning and move on.
And then how do you move on? I mean, you know, we talked about the Elizabeth Horn show.
Well, I guess we had to move on day by day. We took it one day at a time. We did the best we could, one day at a time. We had some good moments, and when you have your good moments, you just revel in it. You think, isn't this wonderful? We got into Special Olympics, and that became a good part of our lives. And then as the years went on, it certainly became more important to us. But you just take it one day at a time. There's nothing else you can do. There's no book that tells you how to do it. Simply, you live it.
Okay, straight out front. How are you going to do it? Tell me how. Now, what's it called? Straight out front. Straight, there you go. Straight out front. Good. Okay. Give me a hug.
Another, Oh, this is a bad game. I don't know what's wrong.
It doesn't mean it like that.
Way to go, honey! Way to go, my man!
Nice try.
How do you think you did?
Okay, I'm hoping I can do better. I want to make Connie proud.
How do you feel about yourself?
Happy, except I got that strike.
What were your scores? Do you remember?
71 and 68, but I can't remember what this one was.
What do you think Mom and Dad think?
I think they're proud of me.
Hey, Maybeth. What is your disability?
What is it? Let me think. I don't know. What is it?
Do you have one?
I can't remember what it is though, Dad.
I guess that's all right.
What do you call yourself? Are you?
Intellectually,
Yes, you're intellectually disabled.
What does that mean?
It's a big word for meaning you can't add too well.
But I can.
Now you
doing very well.
Marybeth, what do you consider disabled or
That-
handicapped?
What does disabled and handicapped mean?
It means that I'm like a handicapped person that shows people or
What do you mean? You mean
That shows people what?
They look differently?
a little bit different than me.
All right.
What do you consider her disability to be?
Oh, she's intellectually disabled.
She doesn't read above the
Her
third
reading
grade.
level is low. Her math
the
is
third.
very low. Yes. Her
But-
greatest.
But her verbal is great, as you can tell.
Her greatest strength is her sociability, her verbalness.
Is there a name? Is there an actual term for what her disability is?
Well, they used to call it retardation, but they call it,
That's a no word.
they call it mentally
Mentally.
disabled now. But she's certainly not mentally disabled in some ways, just in particular areas, academic areas.
Seeing all the athletes and family members at the games has been really great. When I was growing up, I had no one to talk with. I just tried to make sense out of things the best I could. But here, seeing so many people with similar experiences was like attending a week-long international support group. Come over here. Come this way. How'd you do?
I feel great.
Yeah?
Looking good, yeah.
What was your time?
I'm not for sure yet.
Were you happy with how you did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, did you hear us cheering when you went by the first time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good. Well, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
You look great out there. You look so focused. So focused. I were calling out your name and you were just going for the...
Where are you from?
Little Rock, Arkansas.
What sports do you play?
Volleyball.
Volleyball? Do you all play volleyball?
All of volleyball.
What's your name?
Brian Hudson.
And you're all from Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been from outside the United States before?
No, sir.
Canada. Yeah.
Canada.
Mexico.
Canada's quite different from
What do you think of Ireland?
Oh, I like
What do you like about it?
everything.
I like everything, but except the driving. The driving crazy and the money. I don't like the money. I don't like the money neither.
Oh, yeah.
I like the money.
What about the driving and the money?
Man, when you're driving, it's like like everybody about to run into each other.
What do you do when you're back in the States? Do you have a job?
Oh yeah.
What do you do?
Oh, I'm a butcher.
You're a butcher?
Yeah.
What do you do? Well, I mean, you cut meat, you work
Cut
in a
meat,
grocery store?
Cut me, yeah, work in a grocery store, cashier, stock, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long have you been part of the Special Olympics?
I'm working on my 9th year.
Wow. Have you ever been, you've never been part of the international games before, right?
Uh-huh.
Did you go to North Carolina?
Yeah, I played handball in North Carolina. Yeah, it was
Handball in North Carolina, volleyball here.
Uh-huh.
Wow, multi-sports.
Yep.
I got first place with the 50 Valentine's.
Right.
Thank you.
Show me your medal. Hold it up high.
How's that? Hi, Mama, Daddy. I love you. I'm in the camera. Woo! Number one. Yes.
What's your name?
Amy Kells,
Where are you from?
Mahan, Kansas.
You know, when I was thinking about Amy and I look at all the athletes, I think Mary Beth falls somewhere in the middle. She, she is certainly high functioning, but in many ways, and then in other ways she isn't. Amy couldn't tell me how old she was, but she has certainly no self-esteem problems either. Mary Beth can tell me how old she is. My parents said that when this TV interviewer interviewed my sister before that she left, she came up to them and said, "What's her disability?" And my dad said, "Ask her what 3 plus 2 is." And that's my sister's disability, and that and reading, I guess, and just general learning disabilities. And so it's not as obvious when you first see her as when you see some other people. So these are the thoughts for now. She's about to do singles, and I want to really ask my parents why we're here and why they get so nervous about, the competition. How do they handle their competitive stress? I don't know if they do. But Mary Beth certainly seems to be handling it just fine. In both the team and doubles competition, Mary Beth finished 4th. Her scores were much lower than at home, and we think she was nervous having never bowled in front of a crowd before. Competing against women from around the world, singles was Mary Beth's last chance to get a medal.
Toes crossed and everything else. Good one, good one, good one.
Representing Team USA North and our gold medal winner with a score of 288 is Marika Dukic.
Watching Mary Beth win a silver medal thrilled us all, but it didn't do anything to answer my questions. So after returning from Ireland, I visited my sister in Davenport. My parents have given Mary Beth lots of freedom. She lives in an apartment with a roommate and has 2 jobs. She works for the Handicapped Development Center, working with other disabled people, and she works in the concession stand for Davenport's minor league baseball team.
How busy was it yesterday?
Oh, it was alright.
Put some salt on them? Okay.
Do you like your life? Are you happy?
Mm-hmm. I am happy.
How do you think you did bowling in Ireland?
Good, but lousy.
What do you mean by that?
Because I don't think I did that great.
Why?
I wanted to do better. I wanted to come home with a gold medal.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. I think maybe because I got a lot of gutters.
Were you nervous?
A little.
A few years ago, my sister was staying with me, and I took her to Columbia with me. And I just had her come to my class, and I didn't really think much of it. And we were walking into school, and Mary Beth turned to me and said, "You know, I would have liked to have gone to college." And I was just struck dumb. And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because I'd like to be with all the other young people, meet new people." And she meant it, and I went, "Wow." So I said, "What would you have studied?" and I was actually expecting her to say film or something like that. And she paused for just a moment and went, math. Probably math. And I said, really? And we went into school, but before I went into the building, I had to actually pause. I think we walked the long way into school around the block as I sort of gathered my composure, because I never thought of her as someone who actually was thinking I wanted to go to school. And I do think that she thought of me and remembered when I went to school. You told me once, remember I took you to school with me?
Mhm.
And you told me once you'd like to go to college.
Yeah, I would. I would. But I don't know which one. I don't know which college.
Why do you think you didn't go to college?
Well, I guess because I didn't have a chance to. And I would like to.
What would you like to study?
Math and reading and social studies. Because I studied that a lot in high school.
When you get older, what would you like to do?
Move out of my apartment and maybe move into a house.
Really? By yourself?
Find another roommate.
What about getting married and having a family?
But not for a while.
Why?
I don't know. I guess I don't want to get married for a while.
Good. I'm sure Mom will be happy about that. So I'm going to ask you another question, okay? Right.
The light going off.
Yeah, I know. Tell me this.
What?
What's 2 plus 3?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7?
You've had to change. Sometime you've had to change somewhat of how you feel about it. About how she is. I mean, you don't keep her under lock and key, and you know.
We try and give her as many good experiences, outside experiences, as she can. We still worry about her. For example, we worry about her crossing the street all the time, even when she's not with us. She lives on one side of 53rd Street in Davenport, and traffic is horrendous there, and she sometimes catches the bus on the opposite side of the street, and she has crossed the street by herself, unbeknownst to us, several times before she told us about that. We said, don't ever do that, but she has done it, and she hasn't got killed yet, evidently, hurt, anything like that. So she's done a lot of positive things on her own, and that's part of the things that the Handicap Development Center has helped her with. I think we were much more protective of her when we had her in our house than we should have been. Don McClory, who I lived with for 18 years, always said that to me. He said, "You want to let her go. She get her up here in Chicago, and we'll just let her go, and she'll learn a lot." He's probably right. We are overprotective.
Why do you and I cry?
Well, we blubber. You and I tend to. You and I tend to. My mother always used to say, "I cry at a parade when the band marches past. I'm in tears," and I am too. I just think the thought of having any member of our family marching in 7,000 athletes onto this humongous stage with 65,000 people cheering and yelling and doing their flags and everything, and having her look over, this one creature that belongs to us, look over at us and grin and say hi, was amazing. Just amazing. It was wonderful. Great. And that's why we cry. Because we're idiots. No, don't do this to me. Ask me a fun question now so I can laugh.
I keep thinking that, my sister has a really great life. I mean, she's had illustrations appear in a national magazine. She's been on television. She's been in the newspaper. She's traveled to Italy and to France and to Ireland. She has a great life. She has a great job, a nice apartment, family that loves her tremendously. More friends than I have. Why should I feel bad for her? I don't think I do feel bad for her. I think I feel bad for me.
So, I would like to think that you can resolve this and just love her and love the family with just great abandon, you know, just the way you need to. Don't think about it, just love. I think that's an important thing. But you know, in some ways I wouldn't change it for anything. Really? Oh, but what she's taught us. What has she taught us?
I think that all the time.
Oh, sure. I think we're much better human beings for this. I don't like it, but I still think we've grown tremendously.
What did the interview ask you about Mary Beth?
Oh, yes, she was looking at her for a long time, and she said, now what is her disability? She looks so normal, and I said, well, ask her to tell her to ask her what 2 + 3 is. And she said, oh.
And I said, and then, what?
What's 2 + 3? How many? What? Tell me.
5.
Oh,
wow. Well, what's 3 + 4?
7.
Whoa, this is like we're having a brilliant day.
You would practice. How do you know that?
Well, because of the math book you've been giving me every year.
It's been working. What do you know? I didn't think it was working.